path from survival to significance isn't easy, but it also isn't a mystery. The freedom, fulfillment, and financial outcomes you hoped for from your real estate career are within reach. You just have to follow the path that leads there.
Hey, very excited. I have a very special guest with me today. I'm very excited to introduce Lisa Wheeler to the podcast today. So say hi, Lisa.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do within our walls at Century 21.
Yeah, so my name is Lisa Wheeler, and I started working here about 4 years ago. My husband is Roger Wheeler.
Yeah, so just make the connection, everybody,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So some of you might know him, but I started work here 4 years ago, and I work for Agent Financial Services Department, so AFS. I do bookkeeping for several Century 21 agents.
Yeah.
So I do their monthly bookkeeping, and I give them a monthly profit and loss statement so they can figure out if they're making money or not making money. And that's basically what I do.
Yeah.
There's other things I do on top of that, but I think
that's kind of the big one, right? Yeah, no, I love this. So on the path to significance, we're all about coaching agents to build their better businesses through lead, systems, team, money. And money is that like quadrant that's so essential for their businesses to actually get to a place where they are profitable or know what they have and those kinds of things. So yes, we're actually very proud of the fact that we have an AFS and have a Lisa, because it really is, it starts by just getting your structures going the correct direction and then having the people, like the bookkeeping, right? Like that's not typically our entrepreneurs' unique ability that they love spreadsheets and bookkeeping, right? So how wonderful it is to get to hire somebody that can just manage that for you and get you your profit and loss statements every month. That's really good.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I'm very passionate about it. So
I
think it's very helpful to the agents that I do books
for.
you
can see what it helps them get to go do. That's awesome. Okay, cool. So I want to talk a little bit about, we're specifically digging into kind of pay structures for agents themselves and then when they hire team members. So you were just at our team meetings this week. We have a brand new resource on top tips when hiring, but I thought we'd lay some foundational work before we get to the point where you're hiring somebody.
Yes.
Let's just talk a little bit of how you can help in AFS specifically with helping the agents pay themselves, right? So when they're just on their own solo running their businesses, what are some of the ways that you kind of help agents structure how you help them pay themselves?
Yes. So part of their profit and loss statement, you have your income, your commission, and then you have your deductible expenses. Well, one of the deductible expenses that agents can take are their salary, their wages. Yeah. And so many of the agents that I do books for pay themselves a salary so they can deduct that. Yeah. And a salary, when they pay themselves, it's different from an owner draw. Yeah. So the agent needs to be an S Corp for them to be able to pay themselves. Good. If you're not an S Corp, then you cannot take a salary for yourself. So probably half of the agents that I do books for do pay themselves a salary. So we set them up. The software I use is QuickBooks, and so they get a paycheck every month, actually direct deposit, and taxes are taken out. Yes. So then, Social Security, Medicare, their state and federal taxes. So that's helpful with when tax time comes as well, because they've already paid some taxes in. So
that's the beautiful thing. I think people really have a hard time grasping. I'm a 1099 employee. How in the world do I get to a place where I have a little bit more stability? And one of the best ways to get to that place of a little more stability is when you have enough of a steady flow of commission checks, right? Because that's how we get paid. Right. Setting yourself up in an S Corp and realizing you can get to a place where you can, on the, let's call it the 1st and the 15th of every month, or the 15th of every month, whatever that may be, you can get to a place of paying yourself as a W-2 employee to just get some stability going in your business. And then, yes, I love that you said the tax portion of that is so crucial. Like they're already getting taxes taken out, each one of those, like a normal W-2 employee would. Yes. So you're not you don't have all of those tax responsibilities when you're only working as a 1099. So I love that. That's so helpful along the way.
Exactly.
How many of your clients, so how many clients do you have, and like how many do you say are that far along where they're starting that salary?
Yeah, so I do books for 30 clients and 10 of them I do payroll for. So
that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Anytime Lisa and I get a chance to chat and she's, just talking about the growth that some people are working on with their business finances, I get so excited because this really is, we're so passionate about helping them move along this path to significance journey with their money. Yes. And that's a huge step when we get to people there.
And I do have, a couple other agents that have asked me about doing payroll. Yeah. So they're in the process of setting up an S Corp and getting excited about that. But I think it's nerve-wracking for them too, because you do have to have enough money in your business account to be able to pay you, whatever salary you're going to take. Yes.
Which also then takes knowing what you need at home for your home budget, knowing what you need in your budget for your business. So it does take a lot of steps to get there.
Yes.
But it is so crucial for getting to that success place in your business where you can get some more steady, consistent income. So
absolutely.
So Lisa can help you with that as a part of AFS. So I just wanted to kind of set that up as the groundwork, because where we're going next, like I said, is top tips when hiring. We get a lot of questions. I do as a coach, the coaching team. We get a lot of questions about how do I bring on team members, right? So these agents who get to the level of busyness and success where they need help. I mean, it's just a natural evolution of a successful business. You need help. And one of the first ways you get help really is in that admin space, right? Bringing on somebody to outsource some of those administrative backstage tasks so you as agents can really focus on your clients.
Right.
So what the first thing that we get, Lisa, a lot is we hear, how do I know how much to pay this person? I want to bring an admin on.
Yeah.
What do I pay them?
Yeah. So that really depends on a lot.
Yes, it does.
It really depends on their job title, their responsibilities they're going to do. I have a couple clients. I call the agents that I do books for my clients.
Yeah.
So my clients / agents. I have a couple of them have assistants that they go put the signs in the yards, or they go buy their client gifts for them. Yeah. So the busy work like that's really helpful. Then the agent doesn't have to do that. Yeah. They can be showing houses.
Yeah, exactly.
So it really depends on the responsibilities of the assistant, probably how many years of experience they have, what they're going to do, their location. Pay can vary significantly by market where they're at.
Right. So Des Moines versus some of our agents that are looking to hire in Old Wine or Waverly, that market difference is just a difference too.
Yes,
good.
Exactly. They should search specifically within the real estate industry. Yeah. And obviously, if they have any special skills or higher education, then that you're going to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have just some sites on the resource. Check it out, guys. We're not going to go through those, but really understanding what you want them to do, right, is the number one thing that I'm going to say as a coach to all of these agents. What in the world are you going to have this person do? Because that was where your research starts, is based on their task list and, like you said, their job title and their roles and things and their level of experience. All of that will make a difference for getting to an answer of what a reasonable pay range would be, right?
Yes.
But they've got to know what in the heck they're going to have this person do first.
Right.
And of course, our favorite answer on all of this is, well, it depends. So you got to do a little work first.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But then we've provided some resources for you to go do some of the research to come up with a reasonable pay range.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes. You can go to, salary.com, Glassdoor, Robert Half Salary Guide.
Yep.
And then I think it's really beneficial for agents to ask other agents what they do, what they pay their assistant. I have one of my clients that pays an assistant $15 an hour. And then I have another one that pays their assistant $25 an hour. So there is a big range, just depending on, what their responsibilities, their education, their just things that they do. Yeah.
Absolutely. Good. So there's a little work to be done on the front end, but then there's a ways that we can kind of guide you in the direction of how to figure out how much to pay, what's reasonable in that market. Yes. So good. So then we get the question, right? How do I structure that, right? So I've got this person, I figured out maybe what their roles and responsibilities are, and I figured out kind of how much I'm going to pay them. But it's really important that you determine how you're going to pay them in true structure as far as 1099 versus them being a W-2. So tell us a little bit about the difference there.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 1099 is an independent contractor, and so they are self-employed. So the agents, should understand that because they are independent contractors as well.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
independent contractor, they control how and when the work is done. They use their own tools. They manage their own taxes. They don't receive employee benefits.
There you go.
And then they often work with multiple clients. They set their own rates. They furnish their own equipment.
Okay, good.
That's
good differentiators there, right?
Yes, exactly. Then an employee, W-2 employee, is an actual employee that the agent would hire and to perform specific work or services in exchange for like an hourly wage or an annual salary. The agent would control the work that's done as well as when, where, and how it's executed, and also provide like a laptop or whatever they need for them to do their job.
Okay.
And then also for a W-2 employee, taxes are withheld from the paychecks.
Yeah.
So
it's really about, to me, there's a big difference between really like the even just the way that you can like structure your contract, right, with them. Like some of those descriptors that you were saying is 1099s truly are supposed to be more qualified as independent contractors. And the interesting thing that you said in there, they could be working for multiple people, right?
Yes, exactly.
And so I think, again, it's just all about getting something on paper that two parties can agree to, but there are some legalities around that a little bit, not to be scary about those or anything, but those are kind of the technical definitions that help you think through what makes the most sense. And I will say most of our people start in the 1099 space,
they
right?
do, yes.
Make
most
it easier.
Of them most of their assistants are 1099s. In fact, I had a couple clients that shared an assistant. So
that's even better. Like the 1099
the 1099
kind of
structure. Whereas you wouldn't, with an employee, you obviously wouldn't share them. So the 1099, the independent contractor, they can work for multiple people.
Yeah.
And so I did have a couple agents, share their assistants. So.
That's a good way to do it. I like that as a creative thought on that.
Yeah.
So W-2, if they choose to go the W-2 route, that is also something that you can help with, right? As
Absolutely.
if they're an AFS client, you can help them pay their people, right? Which is super duper helpful.
Yeah.
But what do they need to be getting from them? Or like, what do we need to kind of show or prove if, that we can be even paying this person as a W-2, right?
Right. So if they do if they do hire an employee as their assistant, where the taxes are going to be taken out.
Yeah.
You'll need to get the federal W-4 from them, a state W-4, the I-9, which is an employment eligibility verification.
Right.
2 forms of ID, so driver's license, so security card, birth certificate, or passport. And then if you're going to pay them by direct deposit, you'll want to get that form from them as well.
Yeah.
And then their timesheet. Most of the agents that I do books for, they pay their assistant every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So
okay. And via the timesheet, kind of the tracking or whatever.
Yes.
So this isn't to sound like big and scary, right? But you're making a very different decision when you're choosing to hire somebody, just like when you're deciding to yourself if you're going to be a 1099 or W-2. Yeah. This is definitely a decision you're making on how you're going to structure. And again, your considerations for where you are in your business can help decide if your admin. And again, most likely everyone starts with this person being a 1099.
Yes.
The W-2 is a big next step if you do want your admin to be paid that way.
Right.
But that is a smart structure eventually, right? I
yes.
I would say.
Yes. Yeah. And with the W-2 employee, because you're an employer as well, you're going to be paying their taxes to the IRS and to the state of Iowa, and you're going to file the required quarterly reports, and then you're going to send them a W-2 at the end of the year. So there is a little bit more involved when you actually hire an employee.
Yes.
And with my clients that I pay for them, then I handle all of that. I handle, the filing of the quarterly reports and the taxes to the IRS, the state of Iowa.
Yeah.
So, but like I said earlier, most of the agents, my clients, do employee assistants as 1099s. Yes. There are a few agents that employ their children and actually employ them as employees, and so taxes are taken out, and I give them a W-2 at the end of the year.
Yeah. So that's another cool way when we talk about in the beginning of team, when you're building your team, like who can you utilize to outsource things to, and there's some fun opportunities for children to maybe get involved in the business and ways you can structure that too.
Absolutely.
So I love that you brought that up. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So I have kind of figured out what I'm going to have somebody do. I figure out what I'm going to pay them. I think about how I'm going to structure them, 1099 or W-2, likely starting in the 1099 space. And then we get the question always, okay, how in the world do I actually go about paying these people.
Right.
So what are some tips on just how to pay?
Right. So some of my clients, they just Venmo their assistant.
Yeah.
And so I book it as Venmo, and then I put their name down. So because they're also required to send them a 1099 at the end of the year, so they need to track that. So sometimes with Venmo, that's a little hard in tracking.
Yeah.
But that is an option. So Venmo, you can obviously write a check, cash. We don't recommend it.
Not recommended.
Then direct deposit as well. If you have accounting software, if you're using QuickBooks or anything like that, then you can use your accounting software to submit a direct deposit for them. With my clients, I do use QuickBooks, and so I pay their assistants direct deposit. Yeah, so that's really helpful for them.
Yeah.
And then the last one would be AFS, which is myself. So if you're a client of mine, then you can utilize me to help you get your assistant paid.
Nice. Very good. Yeah. So I think that, the most important thing that I can say, even if you were going back to Venmo, the very first thing that popped in my mind was, yes, it does track to your bank account, but is your Venmo attached to the correct business bank account where these funds should be coming out of,
we
right?
have had issues with that too as well. So a couple of my clients had paid their assistant through their Venmo balance. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would have their assistant send me their timesheet, and then I would check my client, the agent's QuickBooks, and it wouldn't even be on their QuickBooks. And so I'd have to do a journal entry. It's a little bit messy. So when you use Venmo, Yeah.
See Cashflow, again, the resource for Cashflow, everyone, on how to structure this. So anytime you're doing anything in the business, right, you want to make sure your accounts and the flow is going correctly, because that's just going to make everything so much easier in the long run.
Try really hard not to use your personal account for business expenses.
Yes. If that's the number one tip we can give everybody before they listen to anything else, right? Use only your business stuff for business stuff. Very good. Okay. So we're just going to wrap up, Lisa. Tell me something that, what's the favorite thing that you get to do, or just kind of what you realize is like the benefit of having somebody help you with your books, right? Like why is it so important?
I'm so passionate about it. I love giving my clients their profit and loss statement at the end of every month, so they can see whether they're losing money that month or if they're making money that month, and just what they're spending their money on is really important too, so they can see.
Right?
As
like,
far as
how's my business doing?
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Like that's, you see the benefit of that. I love that you love doing their profit and loss statements. That's amazing. The benefit is they really get to see how their business is doing.
Yes.
How do people get a hold of you if they have more questions for you?
Yeah. So, they can email me or they can call me. My email is lisa@signatureadvisors.org.
Okay.
Or I think people have my number too. So either way.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Great new resource, top tips when hiring.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.